The pace of treaty negotiations kicked into another gear this year with a record number of completed settlements. Since the beginning of the settlement process, 48 claimant groups are now enjoying the benefits of their settlements. More groups are awaiting legislation, but the majority are only engaged in discussions with the Crown at this stage. Shortly, I'll be talking with the Minister for Treaty Negotiations, Chris Finlayson. But let's have a look back at his time as the face of the Crown.
He whakaeke ngā marae o te motu te mahi, ki te tuku whakapāha ki ngā tini iwi, hapu whānau Māori hoki, kia murua ngā hara a te karauna.
The Crown will acknowledge and apologise for some of the most grievous treaty breaches it committed anywhere in this land.
Engari ko te pātai, kei te noho wairua kore noe ho e nei kupu.
They're much more than mere words or formulaic recitations of apologies. They're something that are extremely important in this whole exercise.
Ka tahi ko te tāmokotanga te whakamutunga o ngā whakaritenga kia tauai te puehu. Ka mutu tēnā kei ngā ringaringa o te minita kia whakamana ature.
Pirangina mātou kia whakatere haere atu, e rā ahotanga no te mea ko nui ke nā mahi ko tō koenei te ahotanga o tēnei kaupapa.
Koenei te tau o ngā tau mō te whakaoti ko koraho, kei tua i nāe nei te katoa te tahua i te kotahi ira toru piriona tāra. Ki enei rohe kua tāmoko hea kētia ngā whakataunga ko koraho. He oi mo enei rohe e whā, tērā e tehi whakataunga kua oti. Ki te nuinga o Aotearoa kei te whiriwhiri tonu te karauna me ngā mana whakahaere. Engari anō, mo tēnei wahanga o te rohe o whanganui.
There's nothing better than being the Minister of Treaty Negotiations. I always maintain it's the best job in government because you get to know your country, you get to know the history of what went wrong, and you get to play your part to put it right.
Neke atu i te ono te kaunga whakataunga ko koraho, kei mua i te aroaro, ko te pātai hei āwhea mutu atu ai.
Joining me today in studio is the Minister for Treaty Negotiations, Chris Finlayson. Tēnā koe, Minister.
Kia ora.
First of all, where are we at currently, overall, with the treaty settlement process?
Oh, a lot of work's been done. There's still a lot to do. Between now and Christmas, I hope to sign 7 deeds of settlement and 3 agreements in principle, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but I think we're making very good progress now.
National campaigned on completing all of these settlements by 2014. Are you on target for that?
Well, we campaigned to use our best endeavours, which is a slightly different thing. We're making very good progress, and I tell folk that I believe that if we keep up the current pace, all those who want to and are able to engage in negotiations should have a heads of agreement or an agreement in principle by 2014.
How many more claims are left to settle?
I'd say about between 40 and 60.
And you think you can get all that done by 2014,
Well,
or you think it'll take a bit longer?
Well, in terms of getting everything finalised through legislation and so on, it's going to take longer than 2014, but as I say, we're making very good progress.
But there will never really be an end to claims, will there? As long as the treaty is present in our society, there will always be claims, ongoing claims into the future.
Absolutely correct. Well, I'm charged with the responsibility of resolving historical grievances in a just and a durable manner, but there will always be contemporary claims, and that is why the tribunal will continue to have a jurisdiction even after the historical jurisdiction has been removed.
A lot of people have put the Treaty of Waitangi and treaty settlement process into the too hard basket. Why haven't you?
Oh, because I've had a very supportive Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister. Do not underestimate the fact that I may be the face of the Crown when I go out and sign deeds of settlement, but I'm nowhere. I get nowhere without the support of the leadership of the party.
At what point did you personally decide not to shy away from treaty issues and treaty settlement process?
Well, I've been very lucky. From the time I went into Parliament in 2005, I've had some responsibilities in this area, either as associate spokesperson or spokesperson for the National Party. And so I've been able to sort of bury myself in the detail and have a pretty good idea of where I wanted to go from day one.
What's your response to people who say the treaty, the tribunal, the settlement process should all be done away with? It's not relevant, it holds back the country, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time. How do you articulate a response to those kind of people?
Oh, pretty bluntly, they're 40 years too late. Matt Rata set up the tribunal in 1975. Jurisdiction extended in 1984. Jim Bolger, Doug Graham got the work started in the 1990s. Those kinds of arguments are just utterly pointless. We're 2/3 of the way through the historical grievance process, and to my way of thinking, people like that just need to get on with life and get over it.
But you must get that question all the time, being the
Oh
Minister
yes,
of Street
I
Negotiations.
get those issues all the time, and I just sort of...
What's an example of what someone said to you, a recent example?
Oh, well, I know during the foreshore and seabed debate, you know, you get some pretty pungent emails about the desirability of my getting cancer and my giving property rights to people above their station. But look, I have to tell you, the vast majority of people have extraordinary generosity of spirit, and they want to see the whole thing succeed. So I never worry about the few miscreants who adopt, you know, sort of a KKK approach to life.
You were one of the major negotiators during the Ngaitahu settlement, and now you're on the other side for the government. How does that feel?
Well, actually, I wasn't a negotiator so much as a litigator. I was involved in things like valuing high country sheep stations and suing the tribunal and stuff like that.
And now you're on the other side of the
Now
fence?
I'm on the other side. Oh, that was great fun.
Yeah.
Of course, you can never get personally involved in your clients' cases, because one of the real problems in treaty negotiations is you get individual lawyers who are conducting sort of personal jihads, although they say that they're really acting for clients. They're getting too personally involved in matters, and they're screwing things up.
And you were sort of, while we're talking about the Ngaitahu settlement, you were responsible or had a part to play in the the relativity clause, what's known as the top-up clause now?
No, look, I can't say that, I'm sorry. That was a very smart commercial lawyer in my old law firm, Bell Gully, called Nick Davidson, who negotiated a very good deal for the iwi.
The relativity clause has come up now, though, because of the fiscal cap going over $1 billion. So Ngaitahu and Tainui are in for a top-up to their settlements. How's that going to work?
I think it'll work perfectly well, and I think so long as the Crown does something which will be relatively novel and plays with a straight bat and acts according to contract, everything will be fine. I mean, the rationale for the clauses was very clear. Tainui were the first folk to settle in 1995. Ngaitahu came up and signed their deed of settlement in November 1997. And it took real courage on the part of Bob Mahuta and Tipini O'Regan to say, right, we'll do it. And so the quid pro quo of that is that if the $1 billion figure was breached, and it's now been breached, that's common knowledge, that they would be able to get a certain percentage of the sum above $1 billion. Now, as I say, the best thing that the Crown can do is act according to contract and not shy away from those contractual responsibilities.
Okay, final question. Next year's going to be an even bigger, it's been a big year this year, but next year possibly could be an even bigger year for you. You've got Tūhoe, you've got Ngāpuhi on the agenda, you've got Ngāti Kahungunu on the agenda. What's that going to look like?
Well, there are one of the tai whenua of Ngāti Kahungunu has settled now, but you're quite right, there's a lot of work to be done there. Ngāpuhi, I certainly hope that the good people up there can put aside personalities, because I think they're getting in the way there, and if they can concentrate on getting the mandate, it's such a big settlement, it's so important to the north and to the country, I think it could happen very, very quickly. And I've got any number of people who would love to be my chief Crown negotiator. On last count, there are about 7. And so, look, we really want to get on with it.
And Tūhoe?
Tūhoe, they are a remarkable group of iwi negotiators. Tamati Kruger and Kirsty Luke are just top class, and they're working very closely with John Wood, my negotiator, who's a great guy, and we're going through the detail of the deed of settlement now. But I certainly hope that it's going to happen next year, because that is so important to the country to get that one resolved.
Chris Finlayson, Minister of Treaty Negotiations, thank you very much for your time this morning. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kia ora.